Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are now listening to That Infernal Noise podcast, part of the Mental Health News Radio Network. Fuck yeah.
I've already started recording.
Oh, fuck you. Hello, everyone. We're back for more shenanigans and nonsensical bullshit. What's going on? I think I have a smudge on my glass, like right there. So, I'm just going to do this and keep talking and act like everything's fine.
It's probably from last night whenever I was fucking with you.
Maybe.
It was entertaining.
That's fair. Okay.
Did you hear that?
I did. What was that? I was about to ask what that was.
I squeezed like my bicep and tightened my shoulder.
Oh man, I wish I could.
And it just popped like
What I need is like the deep down like tendons, and I need all of this to like calm the fuck down because it hurts. You saw that I pushed on my arm in a certain way, and you see that tendon like pop out or like.
That's so fucking gnarly.
Because of how everything is so fucked up in my body and so tense and tight, and my mobility is dog shit, and it's just bad. But I really wish I could get this one to pop right about this position right here. Oh, it might be like rotator cuff shit, like that shit. It hurts like deep down in my shoulder bone, like it's bad. Oh God, why? I'm so over the news. I'm so over getting notifications for shit. I don't want notifications for shit at all. I didn't even read the whole thing. Something about somebody found a body somewhere. I'm done. Nope.
The fuck are you getting notifications?
It was from TikTok. It was like a news thing that a body. I don't
get notifications like that.
I think the universe tries to keep me off of social media. To be perfectly honest, because I used to have a 3-strike rule, and now it's even less than that. You'll get maybe 2 of like things that hurt my heart. I'm just like,
yeah, most of my shit has nothing to do with any of that anymore. So
luckily,
I'm fine with social media.
Luckily, I don't get a whole lot of stuff like that, but every once in a while, that, and I'm gonna sound like an old person now. I just don't want to be on my phone. I just much rather read a book or watch something with you or have a conversation with you or do something with my plants or do a craft or hang out with the kids. I would much rather do something else than be on
literally anything else.
And that wasn't always my case. I used to like love to be on social media and post and get like engagement from other people, and it's just like I'm so over that now. I don't.
Part of that was the desperation for attention too.
Yes, that's also fair.
And I'm not throwing shade. It's like you were single, do what the fuck you want.
Yeah, like, you know, attention. But even after you and I got married, I would like to post pictures of the kids, and I used to make these elaborate posts, and now I just don't give a fuck to do so. Not that I don't care about our kids and our family. I just don't care
You'd
to...
much rather them know than everybody else know.
Exactly.
Kind of thing, yeah.
I would much rather my kids know how much fun I'm having with them because I have my phone away and I'm engaging with them. I'm making eye contact with them. I'm letting them know that I'm here. Is way more important to me than taking the pictures of the thing and then posting it later.
But see, we need to get back into taking pictures though.
Taking pictures is one thing, but like making
like my memories and shit like that.
Okay, that's fair. But like making the elaborate posts, and I just don't have time or the bandwidth or the wherewithal.
What are you saying about me? Because I still do that.
But you're still very verbose, and you still stay on your phone a lot more than I do.
Really? I mean, more than you, yeah, but I don't stay on it. Not
anytime you're on the couch.
I play games and shit. It's not the same thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm not like
fair.
Doom scrolling social media. I do that in the morning purposely, and I do it at night to wind down.
That's fair.
because we're watching like
Whatever it
videos
is.
and shit to make us laugh or whatever.
That's fair.
It's not
Okay.
exactly the same thing, I don't think.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
And anytime I'm just like on my phone, 9 times out of 10 I'm playing a game or something, just because I
Excuse me.
like that for my OCD.
Yeah.
It gives me something to do and something to focus on.
Okay, that's fair. You know what?
Is that Ez?
Mm-hmm. Are we disturbing your sleep?
They're still talking.
But yeah, I just social media hurts my feelings. It hurts my heart, not my feelings. It hurts my heart.
I got rid of everything that bothered me on social media, and now it's very streamlined, and you see, I mean, I show you a lot of the shit that it's either funny shit or motivational, like inspirational shit. That's it.
And again, a lot of the stuff like in my feed, like it's from like the stuff that I see is like posted from other people or like news things that come up, and I'm just like, I can't. Gross.
I keep up with the news in
I
my
keep
own
up,
way,
yeah.
but I don't like
I'm not getting
being inundated with it.
I need the cliff notes. What do I need to research? What do I need to look into? Everything else can fuck off. Like, because give me the topic. And I really hate the way news is presented now because it's bias of one side or the other. It used to be, this is the news. This is the story that happened. I'm going to present you facts and truth. I'm going to present the story to you. You make your own.
Impartially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you create your own opinion and feelings about it. And now it is, everyone tells us how we should feel, how we should look at things.
Because they figured out they can manipulate everybody that way. The news is just fear-mongering. That's all it fucking is.
It's really sad.
Like, oh, you're not worried about anything? Well, here's this. What about that?
Like I sent you that video the other day, and it was a, stitched video. And it was that dude who had looked like a doctor of some sort. He was like, "You want to hear something weird that's going on in America?" And the other guy clipped was like, "No,
I don't.
I live here.
Surely don't.
I live here every single day. No,
I know the shit show that it is.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know something else. Anyway." It's just so.
That could be a 3-hour-long conversation in and of itself.
Again, things that hurt my heart. I see things in the world, and it's like, how are we humans? How have we made it this far? That's my biggest question. How have we made it this far? How have we made it this long without completely burning this son of a bitch down?
We have. Multiple times.
Fair. But
literally.
But I mean, like, the America of today, from like World War II on. What the fuck is going on? It's just chaos. I don't know. I just wish people would treat people like humans.
But that's too difficult.
Well, that's because if you treat people like humans, you're a socialist or a communist or a bleeding liberal. Blah, blah. Meanwhile, if the Jesus Christ from Christian's Bible, like if Jesus Christ from the Christian faith
reincarnated,
and was saying the same things
that Jesus was in the Bible,
that he was saying in the Bible,
they would lock him up and call him a fucking socialist or a communist
or a liberal or
no, they'd go more extreme than just liberal.
Would. Yeah. You leftist. Blah, blah, blah. Could you imagine the things that the Christ that they're fighting for, they would shun in 0.7 seconds? Maybe?
He wouldn't make it to the global or national platform.
He would get called...
They'd lock him up immediately.
They would call him some sort of racial slur because, let's be real, he's not white.
Well, it depends on how he reincarnated.
Okay, reincarnated. Okay.
Let's say he reincarnated as a white man. They pretend he was whenever he incarnated the last time.
Okay. Fair. Let's do that one. Let's say he does reincarnate as a white man. He'd be called a
He'd be called a race traitor, first off, because he'd be talking about immigrants and allowing them the same rights as, any other human
because
being.
We're all human beings.
Yes. So he'd be called a race traitor.
Yes. He would be called some sort of slur for the LGBTQ plus community.
Oh, yeah. They'd call him a faggot immediately because he's against persecuting homosexuals, transgender.
And again, treating people just like, I don't know, human fucking beings. Yeah. And side note, before the Christian faith, and this is not shit on Christianity, this is organized religion that I have, it's Christianity that has the most rule.
Well, we're a Christian nation, so that makes the most sense.
We're not supposed to be a Christian nation, but yeah. We're a Christian nation. I mean, we are, but whatever. I totally forgot where my point was. I'll get it. I promise. What was I talking about before that? Shit, I hate it when this happens. My brain just goes...
Christian nation, leftist, Jesus Christ would be called the slurs.
He would. And... Oh! So... Sorry, I found it. Yay! So, Christianity is the last of its iteration so far. Because
it's the youngest
iteration of that story, because it's for anyone who really thinks,
don't get into all that. Everybody can do their own fucking research.
That's what I was going to say. For anyone who thinks that Christianity is new and its own thing, please do some research about previous things from previous countries that were around way longer than the Christian faith is today. Thousands of years. And what towards the trans community specifically, there were names. There were already names for people who didn't fit into the stereotypical
binary,
male. Yeah. So there were already non-binary terms. There were already transgender terms. There were already queer terms thousands of years before Christianity. And they were caretakers. They were shaman. They were the
respected ones because they thought outside the box and thought differently than the atypicals, and that's why they revered them.
So,
in some cultures. Sometimes they were just stoned to fucking death.
Oh, yeah. To be
completely fair. But
there are other cultures and other religions that have the same story as Christianity that also respected everyone as a whole human being, just who they were. So I think, again, if you identify as Christian, I'm not shitting on you. I just want people to be do some research, do a little bit of reading because the vast majority of Christians that I personally know are not ones to shy away from different conversations or have different conversations with different types of people from different backgrounds. So I'm not sitting here saying that all Christians are bad. I'm not saying that at all. I know plenty and I love them and we have great conversations all the time. And we are respected by them and we respect them. Yeah. So I don't know. My heart is hurting a lot nowadays and it makes me sad. Because it's why can't everybody just treat each other like just humans? I'm not asking for special dispensation of any kind or the LGBTQ plus community deserves more or women deserve more or people of color deserve more than anyone else. It's not that. It's very much
but
we're
then
all
they
humans.
Say, where do you draw the line?
Everyone gets the same shit.
I know,
period.
But they don't
see it like that.
The people in power, and I'm trying to refrain from using
a certain race
or whatever, but we all know what race and what gender it is. I'm not even fronting anymore. But
I know. We all know.
The people in control don't want to lose that control. And if they give equal rights and equal dispensation to everybody else,
power
then
means
they
nothing.
mean nothing. And
that's
they
fine.
lose that control that they've had for hundreds of years.
But the thing is that
they are not going to give that up.
Oh yeah, no,
that's
never.
my point.
Oh yeah, never. See, but the thing is that again, you and I don't think you were recording at that time, but when I was talking about how I think that the Sith way of life outside of the
I wasn't recording yet.
Outside of the needless murders for just outside. The emotional part of the Sith way of life, fully feeling and understanding your feelings.
But see, they weren't fully understanding it. They were focusing on one facet of it.
Your anger and hatred.
And that was the only thing. They didn't focus on compassion. They didn't focus on love. They didn't focus on any of that type of shit. They only focused on the negative side of it. So ideologically, I agree with what you're saying.
Fair.
But they used it to pervert the galaxy as a whole.
Yes, and then the Jedi
did the exact
same thing
opposite.
On the opposite coin.
They removed all of emotion, and then they ended up causing their own downfall because of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the allegory speaks for itself in that situation.
This is America.
And it's true, but that's why there shouldn't be a division. There shouldn't be a separation between the good and the evil. All of us should accept that we have the capability for both and learn to control both sides of it, because there is toxic positivity too.
Yes.
And that's not going to help you any more than being super negative.
Yeah. And for anyone who says, hey, that kind of work, internal work, sounds familiar, that's shadow work. It's not anything like demonic or anything dark or twisted.
Well, it depends on who you talk to.
And I'm saying what it actually is for people who actually want to know. Shadow work is not anything dark or twisted or evil or demonic.
Coming to grips with your shadows.
It is coming to grips with the fact that you've made mistakes. You've hurt people's feelings. You've been the bad guy in people's stories. You've done wrong. And just because you've done wrong doesn't make you the most evil person. It doesn't make you a piece of shit. It doesn't make you the bad. It just means that
we're all human and we're all fallible, which is mentioned in the Bible.
And again, that's another reason why I have such a huge issue with organized religion as a whole, is because it was written down by man who is fallible, who can become power, money, hungry, who can become...
See, I don't think the people that wrote it initially had bad intentions. I think over time it was twisted and perverted to serve man's intentions as opposed to...
Oh, agreed.
...the Christ spirit, or however you want to refer to it.
Agreed. Because then you go from an original language, and then you have that language translated into other languages, and then there's...
And maybe there were a different sect of the religion, so they just changed this little thing or that little thing, and then over time, over 2,000 fucking years...
And then you have like the
story's distorted.
The King James Version, and then you have proof and evidence that things were added to it on purpose. Or taken out of it on purpose.
For political
and powerful gain. So again, yeah, initially it may have been out of humanity, but it's not anymore, and it never will be again, I don't think. Which makes me sad. But I just really... So what I've tried to start doing is just be as kind as I can and offer my help where it's wanted. Because that's all I can do. I can raise my children to be thoughtful human beings and teach them to work hard for what they want in life and do no harm and take no shit. But outside of that, there's not much else I can do. I can control my own behaviors. I can control what I put out in the world, what energies I emit. And then I kind of have to just let it go. And I'm struggling with that right now. So fucking hard. And I know that you've always said that grandma is the most Christ-like person that you've had in your life. And I try to be like her in that facet because I just try to be there for people. And it feels like it's for nothing right now.
She felt like that too.
Probably.
Not probably. I know she did. Because she would try to do the best with like me or with Vic or both of us together, and she would lose her shit.
It just feels like it's... But it feels like it's pointless for the big picture right now.
Our job is not to control the big picture. Our job is to control our part of the picture. And that's it. Like,
yeah, but when our part of the picture is being received in such a negative way...
That's not our problem.
I know it's not our problem, and it's not our place to make people see our intentions.
I honestly give a fuck less.
I know.
Because I cannot worry about that. I can't continue beating myself up whenever I'm trying to live the best life that I can, and I'm trying to help as many people as I possibly can.
And I know where your heart is, and you know where my heart is.
Yeah, and if other people don't want to see that, that's not on us. That's on them. That's a deficit on their side, not ours.
I know,
I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm not going to act like... oh, well, I just want everything to be better. Like, I do want everything to be better, but I'm not sacrificing my peace for it anymore.
No. And just because I cry about stuff, and just because
You don't know how to process the emotion. That's all it is.
Well, no. Oh, I actually saw something that was like trying to normalize crying, little side quest, that cortisol is actually released from your tears. That there's cortisol in your tears. So crying... on top of the endorphins and dopamine that is released while crying, that cortisol is actually released while crying. So to actually normalize crying as a form of self-care through any gender, obviously, because it's more looked down at for men crying, but people in general, that cortisol is released through your tears. So that crying is actually... processing my emotions. It's actually processing what I needed to process.
Maybe. Obviously, I don't know. I'm not doing any research. So.
I just saw that the other day, so I need to do more research on it. But I found that fascinating because it's like I've always felt bad, or I've always felt like I cry because I can't process my emotions, but that's maybe part of my process.
I'm not arguing that, but it always feels like whenever you can't control or sift through your emotions, that's when the tears come.
For me personally?
For everybody. If you really pay attention. It's something you're not dealing with or having addressed, and then it brings something up, and you're like, why the fuck?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, and then it starts the processing.
But what if the tears are are supposed to be part of the process?
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying you're not dealing with something and you're not processing something the way you should be previous to that.
Maybe. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Because I'm fairly well adjusted now and I don't cry a whole lot anymore. And it's not because of any machismo bullshit.
No, because if you feel the need to cry, if something strikes you... Yeah,
but how I don't feel the need to cry anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've dealt with so much, especially in the past 2 years or so.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Not a lot. I don't feel like a lot is going to make me cry outside of the obvious insane shit that would happen. You know what I mean? Like the shit you can't prepare for. That type of shit.
I don't know. I might do some more research on that just to see, because I have 30, almost 40 years of stored cortisol and stored trauma response chemicals that your body creates in my muscles. You know how my muscles are. You know how my body has reacted to all of my shit, and it is not good. So maybe that also has something to tie into it, that since there's a surplus, who knows? Oh, but I might research that some more. But yeah, but sorry, circling all the way back, it just... I feel like Obi-Wan, kind of, in this, where he's just trying to do his best and try to do the
right thing.
The right thing. And then his interaction with, like, Owen.
It's because he has a certain set of ideals.
Yes.
And that ultimately led to the downfall of the Jedi.
Yes. But I feel like
because
Obi-Wan...
he couldn't do what was necessary to stop Anakin.
Oh, that's very true.
In any shape, way, or form. He couldn't do it in the last battle. He couldn't do it leading up to it. He couldn't confront Anakin about shit that he knew was going on. And what happened?
Maybe after... Well, yeah.
No, he knew what was going on. He knew that Anakin was with Padme.
Oh, yeah, he did.
He knew that way before any of the other shit.
Oh, yeah. No, I meant specifically, I feel like him after everything happened. And he's on Tatooine, and he's trying to do what's best.
He didn't do everything that he could leading up to that point, so he is filled with regret. And he knows that.
Okay,
he knows he didn't handle it correctly. You are on the front side of it, thinking you're on the back side of it. You're doing the things, trying to fix everything up front, and it's not working the way that you want it to. So you think it's on the back end, and everything's for naught. That's where you're at.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, then I don't know who I am.
Sorry, I've overanalyzed. You're alternate universe Obi-Wan. You're doing everything you can to keep the turn from happening.
The what if Obi-Wan. Mm-hmm. I'll take it.
Or Qui-Gon, if he had survived. Like, that's what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. I would totally be a Qui-Gon.
Because I love Obi-Wan. He's still one of my favorite characters, but I felt like his dogmatic view of everything is ultimately what fucked the galaxy.
You know what? I would be more of a Qui-Gon. Yeah.
And he's still one of the, like, Jedi I idolize.
Yeah. I love Qui-Gon.
But Qui-Gon, like, he just had so much more insight. Like,
he did.
Internally and externally. He was able to see things from a different perspective that the majority of the Jedi, including those in the High Council, could not see. And he ended up being right.
And I don't like, you know me, I'm not a self-horn tutor. That sounds weird. But...
Self-adulator.
There you go. But I try to do that. And I always have. Not on some, like, I'm better than you or superiority thing. It's just like, I've been... From out the gate, I've been through a lot of shit that a lot of people haven't. I feel like since I was alone, and I've been alone, and it's just been me for a lot of things, that I do have a different point of view, and that I do have... I do have good things to say and to pass on. And that I can help if you want my help.
But not everybody wants it. That's the thing. Okay, you want to continue to make the Star Wars analogies.
I can't force it.
Everybody could see something negative happening.
Yeah.
But nobody could really put their finger on it, and everybody just kind of allowed it. Whenever they knew something was wrong with Palpatine voting himself emergency powers, and there was trepidation about it, everybody stood up and cheered for it. Whenever he abolished the Republic and created the Empire.
Oh, man.
This is how democracy ends, with thunderous applause.
Padme is the
And there
best.
were a handful of the senators that knew this was a bad thing, but they got outvoted because overall the masses wanted
security.
The protection.
Security.
And it wasn't, they wanted to maintain the status quo, and they felt that that was the way to do it. Instead of realizing this is a bad idea, maybe we need to retool some shit to figure out how to actually make this function correctly.
And
that's how I view it, at least.
And you know how much I've been struggling lately. And this morning,
Were you able to go back to sleep?
Yeah, I was. As soon as I wrote...
I passed the fuck out.
I was writing stuff with my eyes closed. But I know what I was writing. Because I woke up this morning. And the first thing I heard in my own head was like, you're never going to be special enough. And it was... I wrote, why can't I feel special? Why will I ever feel special? I've never felt special.
Thanks.
As a whole, I don't feel special as a person. I don't.
That's because of your perception, though.
Yeah, I know it is.
Because I do everything to try to make you feel special. I've tried to do so much different in our relationship.
Yeah, and it's not anything personal, and I'm
it
sorry.
Sure as fuck feels personal.
I don't... And maybe it was just in that moment. It was, I don't even know what time it was in the morning, and it was
the sun was already peaking, so it had to be like 6:37.
And that's how bad this whole situation has affected me. That's where I feel right now. I don't feel special. That I do.
Well, I told you, it's going through a breakup. Whenever you go through a breakup, you question everything. You question your worth. You question the reality of everything that's been said and done up to that point. All of that shit.
Yeah.
Every little thing comes back, and it's just like, well, what the fuck did that mean? Oh, what the fuck was this?
Yeah.
Like,
so again,
you can't do that to yourself.
I don't actually, like, now that I'm awake and I've processed things, I know that I'm special to you because of all the work that you've done. That not only did you do it for obviously you, but you saw what it was doing to me. So yes, outside of this, like if I sit, but that's how I was feeling this morning, especially when that's the first thing you hear in your head, and it's like, wait, what the fuck?
Where the fuck is this coming from? Well, you know where it's coming from, but why as soon as you
And then why does
eyes?
It bleed into everything else? I wrote down in there, I've never felt special, and that's not true. I still have notes that you sent, like the teddy bears that you sent me when you sent me, I think it was like an edible arrangement or something. I still have it in the closet, and I have the note so you can see it, you know? So as a whole, like, how does it fuck with me that bad? I've done the work.
Because it brings back everything.
Because it's like, what the fuck was all this work for? And ultimately...
You can't make people pull their heads out of their asses.
No, ultimately, I know I'm right. But when I have to wake up to, you're never going to be special enough, no one gives a fuck.
The situation mirrors so many things that have happened in your life, and it brings back all of that.
And I do apologize for writing that, because that's how I was just feeling in the moment, and I was...
It does. I'm not going to say it doesn't hurt my fucking feelings, but I get it.
But I do... In my waking life, I know I can look at you and be like, okay, yes, I am special to this man because he's done things for me.
Even when I fuck up, I try to...
Exactly. Just, I guess, in that moment, in the morning, half awake, half asleep, that's just...
And maybe you were having dreams that you don't remember.
Maybe.
And it like, exacerbated all of that. You don't know.
That was the first thing. And that makes me angry all over again about the whole everything, because it's like...
Because it makes you mad about this situation, and then it makes you think about other situations that have happened, and it's just like, fuck again? Mm-hmm. Like, how many times am I going to voice my opinion and then be told I'm wrong?
How many times am I going to have to relive this shit?
Well, I mean, they say that you relive things until you learn the lesson.
And I know what the lesson is. And we've been told the lesson.
Knowing what the lesson is and changing your reaction to it are two completely different things.
I need to mind my own fucking business. My help, my qualities, all of who I am and what I bring to the fucking table
needs to be saved for the people that actually appreciate it.
My help, who I am, is always on the table. But I know that I can't.
You can't force people to pull their heads out of their asses.
I can't do that.
There's no better way to say it.
And I can't make people see my good. Because if people want to see my good as bad, they're going to see my good as bad. They're going to see
those people
my
are typically
intent as evil,
the ones
wrong.
that already think that to begin with.
And that breaks my heart because that means that they've thought it the whole time.
If that's what you're quick to jump to, and that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know.
But I had the same thought. It's like
if you start drawing parallels and paying attention to things, it's like, well, if you were that quick to jump to, that means you were looking.
You've thought about this.
You were waiting for something like this to happen. And why? That means you're expecting something negative from me, which I don't see.
When I've never given you a reason. I've always been honest. I've always been honest with you.
I'm not arguing that, but you can't say that it was 100%
fair
above board. That's my point with it.
Fair.
Because it's all part and parcel. Yes, there's been a lot of work done. Yes, there's been a lot of good on this side of it. However, you can't say it was never not toxic. Or it was never toxic, or whatever.
I know what you meant.
Double negative for some fucking reason.
And maybe I'm wrong in everything that I'm thinking about the situation.
But and we've had that conversation where we know whenever we're making stupid fucking decisions. You get that feeling in the pit of your stomach, and it's like your conscience telling you that this isn't right, but you don't know in the moment.
Yeah, and this isn't that.
I haven't had that feeling at all. I've second guessed a lot of shit, but I never got that feeling, that anxiety feeling. So, I'm going with my gut.
Yeah. So and I know that's my lesson. That I am enough. That I am special. That I do bring things to the table, and that I am worth my boundaries. And I am
the people that you care about
don't see it that way.
It's unfortunate
for anyone current or anybody in the future.
Well, and everybody in the past, too.
Everybody in the past, that's, you know me. Y'all motherfuckers don't exist.
But that's not true.
I know.
You say that all you want, but that's you fucking thumping your chest trying to act like you're bigger and stronger than you are.
It is.
And that's not true at all, because I see it, and it hurts you every single fucking day. And I see that whenever nobody else does. Well, I mean, certain other people.
And again, that's another reason why I know I'm special. Because you notice things like that. I do have people that care. And again, I'm sorry that I hurt.
You don't have to be sorry about it.
I don't want to hurt your feelings in my
I get it
bullshit.
right now. I get it right now. It's not, I don't take it personally, put it that way. It doesn't mean it's not going to hurt my feelings, because why would I want my wife to feel like that in any capacity, regardless if it's from me or from somebody else? Because I've done my fair share of making you feel like that too, so I can't exactly get twisted about it.
I guess in that moment, it's just you become your own little entity, and that everything else is just piling on top, and you can't breathe, you can't move, you can't say anything. Because everything you say is going to be twisted and manipulated, and I'm not the bad guy, goddammit. God, fuck it, there, I said it, I'm not the bad guy. I'm not wrong. And fuck you to anybody who's tried to make me feel like that in the past however long. Because I know what I bring to the table. I shared something the other day where it's like, unfortunately for you, I know exactly who the fuck I am, and I do. I'm not tooting my horn. I am not saying I'm better than anyone, because I'm not. I've made the mistakes too. I've been the piece of shit.
But you own it now. And you, not that you own it and lean into it, but you own it and you're trying to learn from it and not
I
be
recognize that I haven't been right, even if I was being kind and nice in the situation.
You know, whenever you were doing it to like twist the knife or whatever the fuck,
or
manipulate a situation, or however you want to look at it.
No, not even that. Me letting people walk all over me and mistreat me and use me.
I thought you were talking.
Yeah,
the other side of it.
Any side of it, even the altruistic side of it, it's still toxic. I still let people do whatever.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. I just thought you were still talking about the other side.
Even on that, well, yeah, because that's the toxic. Yeah, like that's me being Miss Petty Betty and
purposely toxic,
purposefully being
instead
petty
of altruistically toxic.
Yeah. I know that's the lesson I have to. The universe has been telling me. The universe has been telling the fucking both of us. In everything we've listened to, anything we've read in the past, week and a half.
And the funny thing is, it's witchy shit, it's secular shit, and it's religious shit, and all
3 completely different walks of life
are lining up every single day.
Fucking thing.
And it'll be like different points
of the same
in like a day, like for the day. It'll be a different point for the day, but every single one of them end up lining up
with my lesson and our lesson, maybe.
And it's not even just like an algorithm.
No, these are books.
It's like books that I'll open up and be like, oh, okay, this is what the same shit that I've been telling you all day. Oh yeah, by the way, the book that I read at night is saying the exact
same thing.
And it's not even reading it front to back. It's the bibliomancy shit where you just open to a random page and there it is.
I've spent 30, however many years making myself so small,
palatable.
And even then I wasn't palatable.
Because you still let it seep out or whatever.
Because I would still be loud and I was still like the life of the party and the this and the
What
that.
were we watching then? It was like, you're too... fucking Mrs. Documentary.
I am too much.
And it's just like... But I've always told you, you're never too much for the right person.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of people you have in your life now that they see it as endearing.
Yeah.
They see it as you being you. And
thank you for saying that in me and just allowing me. And I don't mean
because I'm not going to say that it was never too much, but
yeah,
I wasn't
too
in
much
the
before.
right headspace at that point.
You were not ready to receive.
I wasn't comfortable with myself.
Yeah.
And accepting that I was actually envious of you. And since then, I've come to realize that I was envious of you, and that's why it bothered me. And once I realized that, it was never a big deal after that.
And that's what, and that's another big lesson that I'm having to deal with, is that not saying anyone should be envious of me at all. I'm not saying that, that's not me. But
you're a fucking catch, dude. You are. I know you have a problem saying it. So
I do.
I was trying to...
Thank you. But I'm not saying anyone needs to be envious of me. But that's a lesson that I need to... Or that's something that I'm also having to come to grips with, is that... And the fucked up thing is that I've told the kids that. Other people's shit has nothing to do with you. Mm-hmm. How they treat you has nothing to do with you. It's a reflection
of them, not you.
And that's why we've also told them, you need to be kind to people, even if they're being dicks. Because sometimes
you don't know.
You don't know what they're going through at home. You don't know what their life is like. You don't know what love or affection is being taken away from them, or that they're devoid of.
Or what kind of manipulation, or what...
Because I grew up with a manipulative mother. Ooh, gross. Anyway. No one needs to be envious of me. I'm not saying that people need to be envious of me.
You don't have a superiority complex as much as some people have acted like you do have. Like, I know the real you, and it's not that. You struggle to be proud of yourself in general. And if you had a superiority complex, you'd be like, well, everybody should fucking be like me.
Yeah.
I have more of that than you do.
But since I have done a lot of work and I have worked on my self-image and my self-worth and how I feel about myself, I can now say that you don't need to be envious of me. But if you are, you can talk to me about it. But ultimately, you need to figure out
what triggers,
why,
what about me triggers
I
you.
trigger you when I am being my most authentic self.
Or trying to be.
I'm not being fake. I'm being respectful. I'm being courteous.
You might go off at the mouth occasionally.
I am healing. I am not healed.
No, but I don't.
Healing.
See, everybody associates the healing with, oh, I don't talk shit. I don't do that. Like you have to let that pressure valve off.
That's why I love my therapist. Joe is the best because I've said things and I'm like, that was just me being petty. And she's like, hold on.
What's wrong with Petty Betty?
What's wrong with being Miss Petty Betty every once in a while, and not anything in a malicious way.
Yeah, you don't need to do it maliciously, but there are certain things where, like, it's okay to get angry about. It's okay to get sad. You're not supposed to not have these negative emotions. You're just supposed to be able to navigate them.
And not cause harm because of them.
Yes.
And I would like to think that I haven't done that, but, you know, my perception of me is different, obviously, than other people's. So even though I'm trying to do my best and be authentically myself and to heal and to be mindful of everyone and everything, which is exhausting.
Yes.
By the way.
And that's why I say you got to streamline it and focus more inwardly.
Solely on
what you can do. What
I can do and put my energy into areas and people that are putting their energy
or maybe not even putting their energy towards you, but the ones that actually need it.
Or
because that's a different thing. Because some people don't have the energy to give initially.
Let me explain kind of what I mean by that. Because I see what you mean. That I don't necessarily mean put their energy towards me in an active capacity.
Towards work.
Yes.
The work of it.
Or
and getting better. Okay. I see what
or
you're
put
saying.
their energy, they would match my energy. Like if I came to them with an issue, they would be able to sit and receive it.
And not immediately go on the defensive or start.
That's what I mean by.
What's the term? Like.
Gaslighting?
Well, not gaslighting. I mean, they get defensive and then they try to justify everything, and then they say they're not justifying their actions, but whatever.
Yeah, it's if you can match my energy, because people have come to me and said, hey, this bothered me.
Shit, I've done it. I do it all the time. Well, not all the time, because you don't do shit like that anymore, but in general, I think I was probably one of the first people that did it. That was just like, hey, this shit is not fucking kosher. Like, you need to chill this shit out. And it's not like your personality or anything. It was negative things that you were doing that were going to harm you eventually. Well, not eventually. It was harming you, but it could get worse.
Oh, yeah. That was a slippery slope. But, like with Gabby, her and I had a falling out a while ago, and
you were both essentially right in that situation.
We were both right in our feelings, and we were both wrong in our actions.
Yes,
and the thing is,
but y'all didn't know how to navigate that at that point. Y'all were, in our
20s,
you're kids.
Yeah, we were early 20s.
Now we're almost fucking 40, and we look back at that and we're like, oh, fuck,
whoops, my bad. But I was able to tell her, hey, this about that situation hurt me, and I needed you,
and you weren't there.
And on the flip side, why it's not easy to watch someone you love destroy themselves, and I was destroying myself.
And I think that is more of why all of this shit is so jarring for you, because
I thought things were different.
You saw it from that side too.
Yeah. And
you saw your reaction, and what your reaction was drastically different.
extremely different. But I was also able to tell her, or she was also able to tell me, look, this, I didn't know what to do. This was hurting me. I needed you in a certain capacity and you couldn't do that for me. So
there was rights and wrongs done on both sides.
But the thing is that that's what I mean by energy. Match my energy in that fashion.
Well, it's the thing that I shared fucking yesterday. Yeah. It's like everybody's quick to match the hate and the anger whenever it comes to matching energy.
Compassion and kindness
compassion
and understanding.
And love. Like, y'all motherfuckers ain't matching that shit.
No.
So it's just like, what the fuck?
What,
so you're all about matching energy, but you're about
then?
It goes back to the Sith thing. It's like, yes, they were leaning into their emotions, but they were only leaning into the negative ones. Like, you need to have all of the emotions. There is a spectrum of emotion, not just one side or the other. That's not how it works.
Yes.
And that's the thing that most people don't think about. And then you could associate it with the Lantern Corps. They have the spectrum of emotion.
Yeah.
It's not just one thing. It's not just positive. It's not just negative. It's all encompassing.
Yeah. It's
why death is a Lantern Corps, I don't understand, but that's it. Neither here nor there.
Why death is a Lantern Corps?
It's not an emotion, is my point. It's a state of being.
Yes, but what comes with death? Grief, pain.
Yeah, but
suffering.
That literally had nothing to do with the Lantern Corps, though.
Oh,
it was a way to do zombies in the DC universe.
That's cool
because they would go to like different universes or whatever dead heroes were, and they would become Black Lanterns.
Oh, okay. So like I know the Green Lantern pledge, like I know that, but like when it comes to the other corps, I'm not as familiar. Like what?
Well, the Black Lantern is more newer, and then they had to have a White Lantern to counteract like the Black Lantern, and that it was a whole thing. And the White Lantern thing was cool, but it's convoluted. Yeah. It's convoluted. It's comics, so of course it's fucking convoluted.
Yeah, I don't know much about the corps as a whole, though, so I'm ignorant in that.
That's why I just made the reference and just moved on, because I know you don't know the comic thing.
I know what I need to do.
I just don't know if I have the strength to do it. It's a Star Wars heavy episode. You might as well.
Well, if they would stop making so many things relatable, then I wouldn't have so many reference points.
Don't say that, because the fucking internet.
Okay. Please don't. I want it to stay relatable. Never mind. I'm lying. Please don't take that away from me. Please don't take that away from me.
No, I just mean the internet will fucking toast you.
Oh.
Because it's just like, I self-related. Like, okay.
Everybody's going to find something to be pissed off about it, whatever.
Like, if you can't relate to the shit that a girl goes through,
reevaluate
just because
your life.
She's a girl, and it's not even like centered around the fact that she's a girl.
Reevaluate your life.
It's just the struggle that she goes through, and it just so happens that she's a chick. Meanwhile, you watch Luke do the exact same thing, and oh my god, I relate to it so much. And I do, but I saw the parallels.
Yes. But you've also related yourself to other female characters and it's not because they're female, it's because of something that they're going through.
It's relatable. That's the whole point of making a relatable story.
Side quest. I saw a video the other day that was made by a female doctor, and she had like this, I think I sent it to maybe a group message that you're in. I don't know. I might not have. But it was she did this whole song at like different ailments that affect women, and that
you didn't send me
like migraines, perimenopausal symptoms, menopause itself, all these things that affect women specifically, and there's not a lot of knowledge about it. And she made this whole song, and she was like, we haven't studied the female body. I was like, and they haven't, because if you look at research, they know nothing about us. Period. I mean, they know a little bit.
It goes back to that whole people in power thing.
Yeah, we all know the gender that they are, and then the ones that have uteruses that identify as however they identify, but that still have uteruses, they still don't understand us, and they still make laws against our uteruses. God damn it. But to be fair, I don't want the son of a bitch either. Like, I'm almost 40. I'm not having any more kids. I know I'm not to the transition age of menopause yet. Take it. I don't fucking want it. I'm not using it at all. But that's a whole other thing. Anyway, I can publicly say and will publicly say I have been fucking struggling for about a month or so now. Maybe a month?
I don't know.
It feels like a year. If I'm being honest, this feels like it's been going on for fucking ages, and it's not. I know it hasn't.
Well, it probably feels like that because this is another part of the cycle of shit like this happening.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
Because if you do the math...
It's 38 years of shit.
Well, besides that, it's about a year.
And a half. 2.
Well, no, I'm talking about...
Closer to 2.
Not the last time. You see what I'm saying? And that was the last time you had to deal with a situation akin to this. Was almost a year ago.
Sorry.
So it seems like
I know what you're talking about now. Sorry, I thought you were talking about...
No, I was trying to get there without...
Getting there.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. It'll be...
September,
end of September.
Whatever it was, I don't remember. I don't remember when it was. I just know it was around then. But regardless, I think that's why it feels so long, because you were processing and dealing with all of that. And
so
then,
this is it's and it's a new moon.
No,
it's a full moon.
Tonight.
Yes, full moon. Sorry, not new moon. So it's like the end of a season. It's coming up on a year.
Everything we had been seeing yesterday was talking about the
season. It's a punctuation mark
of the season, the end of this energy. This is the time to get rid of everything, and da 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 da. It was like, and that's where we were going anyway.
It is.
So it's jarring.
It's fucking frustrating. That's what it is. But I'm going to do my own self-reflection today. I'm going to take today to get as prepared for this as I can. And then I have to, because this is affecting me in such a negative way that I've done too much hard work to not be in this place.
Mm-hmm.
And I deserve...
You deserve to be happy.
I deserve my peace because I've done the work for my peace. I say I deserve it because I worked for it. I don't say I'm entitled or anything like that.
Hey, get out of the curtain.
You're not supposed to be there right now.
You don't need to screw up the lighting right now.
And that's why I say I deserve things. I say I deserve things that I've worked for. I don't say I deserve things that I haven't worked for.
But maybe the key is to not feel like you deserve it.
I deserve it from myself. And I can give it to myself. I can...
You're not looking externally for that.
Right. I deserve it from myself. Not from anyone else, but I deserve it from myself to give myself the peace that I've worked for. And I have to do that. I have to let go. I have to do the things. And like I tell you, as part of my gratitudes every night, I'm grateful that we've done the work, and I'm grateful we will continue to do the work. Because
and we'll slip. We'll regress back and forth.
Yeah. But just and I don't think it's regression when we feel this way.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there will be times that we actually fuck up.
Oh, yes.
That's what I'm saying. I don't consider this a fuck up. It's we're processing shit, and we have emotions about it. We have reactions to it. Our reactions are different right now because mine is more, it's not ambivalence, but it's okay.
It is what it is.
Like, yeah, like whatever. It hurts. Yeah, it fucking sucks, but I can't do anything about it. I've tried to do something about it, and it made it worse. So, whatever. Ball's in your court.
Well, yeah. Because
that's where I'm at, though, and I don't expect, like, we've had that
because I just had a thought cross my brain, and that's why I said, well, if my own mother isn't willing to choose a different way, how can I expect it from anyone else? And I shouldn't
expect anything from anybody. But that doesn't mean you can't hope for it. That doesn't mean you can't want for it.
And that's fair. But I have
the only reaction that you can control is yours.
Yeah.
And how you choose to act.
Yeah.
And how you choose to process and move forward and yada yada.
So, and the way I'm choosing to do that, I will remain polite, respectful.
Even if people are side-eyeing and fucking rolling their eyes or whatever.
And I will have to just protect myself from whatever comes. Because I can't expect people to change. Even if I want them to. And I feel like Kaylee in this moment because it's like, and I'm not saying this to make you feel bad, but if you can change.
I don't take that personal. I get that. Trust me, I get that.
I would like to think that everyone would be able to pull their head out of their ass.
Some people don't have the want to, though.
And that's
not
what people miss.
That's not our problem.
It's not.
Unfortunately, like we've always had the type of personalities where we try to take the world's problems on our shoulders, and we cannot do that. We're not Atlas.
No. Even though, see, and the reason I feel that way is because I was made to feel that when I was younger, because everything was I was responsible for things that I shouldn't have been responsible for.
Probably factors into this too.
Yeah. So I need to take today to really reflect, really take some time for myself, write some shit down.
Burn some shit. You know, and that's what we're going to do later. So
yeah. So the moral of the story is keep doing you. Keep doing the work. Keep pushing. This shit is hard. This shit is lonely. This shit is not for the fucking weak. And if you feel some kind of way about me saying that, check yourself. Why does it offend you? Do some personal fucking inventory.
Chickadee check yourself
before you wreck yourself.
Sorry.
Anyway. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my own personal inventory. I'm going to recognize my work, my worth, my place on this fucking mud ball, in my energy from source. Like, I need to figure out where I am.
You know where you are.
I know where I am. I need
centering back to it.
I need to re-show myself what I bring to the table and focus on that because I'm worth it.
You are.
And because I'm worth it, obviously you're worth it because I love you and I want to be the best version of myself. Not only for myself, but for you and for my babies. Because I don't care that my oldest baby is 20 and my youngest baby is 11. They're my babies.
Doesn't matter. We figured that out recently too, where it's just like, oh, this is
my biggest baby.
We're talking about.
This is my babyest baby.
Like it doesn't matter what age they are; they're still your fucking baby.
My babies, because they deserve my best,
the best version of us possible,
and they deserve it because they were brought into they were brought into this world. They didn't ask to be here, so they deserve it from me. So I need to redirect my energies elsewhere, where they're needed and wanted.
And appreciated.
And reciprocated. So maybe not from the kids. I'm not.
Reciprocation is not always necessary because sometimes you do just have to
do it and let it go. Yeah.
Well, not just do it and let it go, but be there for somebody whenever they can't be there for you.
Again.
At the time.
Yes.
You do that to help them, and then once the help is done.
Again, that's what I meant. But
Yeah.
like event, I don't mean immediate when I say match energy or reciprocated. I don't mean in the moment, because I understand that there are seasons. And I hate that I have to explain that to people so they don't automatically assume that I'm some selfish cunt that expects.
But that's why
repayment.
That's why I add to it.
That's fair. And I have to say this out loud so people don't. I'm not expecting people who are in pain to repay me for my kindness. Just if I come to you with my pain, please try to be there for me. That's all. That's all I'm asking.
God forbid.
To be treated equally. Anyway, so for anyone out there who may need resources, please reach out. If you feel alone, please reach out. You're not alone.
We feel alone too. Don't worry.
Robert and I can try to get you resources. I'm still in the works of trying to figure out how to start my own support group, whether it be whatever it is. But I do have access to resources. Robert has access to resources. We can help if you want it, because we're not here to force help anymore.
BetterHelp.com. No. Sorry.
We're not sponsored at all.
Yet. It'll get there.
Maybe. No, not
It'll
maybe.
Get there.
It'll get there.
I just have that feeling.
Maybe, and not even necessarily with them, because there's so many different services now. It would be great with them, but we're not going to turn away help and resources from another company if that were to ever happen. That's why I'm just saying it doesn't necessarily have to be that one. Anyway, do all the social media things, please, because we're trying to get our shit out there. We're just trying to help as many people as we can. So please, while helping ourselves and going through our own bullshit. See, just because I've done the work doesn't mean I still don't go through shit. So please like, share, subscribe. If you see somebody struggling, say something. If reference them here, I'm trying to help.
Do something to help.
Yes,
try to help.
Just try to help. You can offer help. Don't force the help, because people don't like that apparently. But if they need help, we're here. All right, guys. Do all the stuff on social media. Love you guys. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you like this episode, or know someone who would, please help us grow the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Keep up with all episodes on Buzzsprout or anywhere else you get your podcasts.